Currently, I'm at my shop, and I was responding to a YouTube comment the other day. I had this thought. I haven't been having too much of a hard time closing the store, at least emotionally. And I've been trying to figure out why I'm not more sad about it. And I think what happened was I had this reality that I've made a lot of good memories in this store. I have a lot of good memories to think back on, very little bad ones. But somewhere down the line, I just no longer got excited to make new memories here. There weren't things that I wanted to do or wanted to accomplish. There weren't things that kept me motivated. Apparently, I made a lot of screw holes in this place. My landlord was here yesterday fixing some drywall, and I got a lot of markings here. So right now I'm here and I'm gathering up all my little things. I don't have those thoughts of like being really sad about it. I'm not sure if that's normal. I'm not sure if maybe I'm coping. I don't know. So I was talking to my wife last night and we were talking about the closing of the store. She was saying like, I haven't really pushed myself to create, in my downtime. I'm never like turning on a computer designing. Maybe a lot of that comes from the store and the pressure of the store. Whether you know it or not, there's a lot of pressure when you have a retail store. Not just to sell things and make rent, but you have a lot of pressure and expectations. When I was younger as an artist initially, I used to get on my computer and design for days. Like I could just lock myself in a room, make designs all day, all different things of what I wanted to make, all different ideas. It's like the fountain was forever on, just constant ideas. And somewhere down the line, once you start selling things, you just lose that. You start worrying about what other people would like versus what you like. In reality, I kind of have that same type of struggle when it comes to YouTube. There's videos that I would want to make and there's videos that I do enjoy making. Those videos aren't necessarily popular, and true freedom of anything is just doing it because you want to do it without any outside sources. I think true art is made when there's no limitations from outside forces. But the minute you start giving those outside forces some weight, your art no longer becomes your art, and it just becomes a little more taxing on the creativity. When I started cleaning up, I had to remove all these boxes. And then, comes to find out, to bring my small things home, I have to bring boxes from home back here. Really stupid. There's so much stuff back here that I haven't seen for years. I kind of have no idea what it is. Zero attachment to it. So when Stella was really young, she was into a show called PJ Masks. And there was this bat, like he would dress up as a bat. And he had a mask and wings. So I sewed her this little outfit. Do you know who I am? Can you tell? Or in this disguise, you have no idea? Can you do it?
Can. Whoa! There's boulders on the ground. What is all these boulders on the ground? Look at all these boulders.
I didn't see boulders.
Do you think it's magnet enough to attach to your putter? You think it'll magnetize?
$10 if you could make this.
If I can make it to the black?
Yeah, with the white flag.
Yeah, no flag, okay. $10.
$10. Cash money.
$5 if he makes this putt right now. $5.
What's up, guys?
Oh my God.
So it's funny, right now I was coming to my shop and then there was a guy that used to be out here. He was a contractor. Well, down the street from here, there's like this Christian bookstore and nobody on the block has ever seen it open. It's always been just on the corner, a little suspicious looking, like I don't really know what it's about. And he was telling me that his wife would think that my store and the Christian bookstore were both like fronts for some like illegal business or something. And I was telling him, man, I wish that was the case, you know, because I would probably be a lot richer if that was true. But honestly, the way that it is to open a retail business and to have a store, it's a huge requirement on your life. When I first came to my store, my daughter was 4. And at 4 years old, she could just hang out, draw pictures, and keep herself occupied. Now at 14, the responsibilities of like parenting and just things like that is just so much different. When it comes to having a store, you just don't realize how much time it's going to take. You also don't realize, you know, the way that it changes your art. Well, I'm an art-based business, so the way that it changed my art is, you know, you have these ideas of what you think are going to work and what you like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what your customers like. And the part that really messed up my art journey is, like I told you, majority of the people that frequent this street aren't necessarily the type of people who naturally gravitate towards my work. They're not necessarily my demographic. And a lot of times what they would say would influence what I felt would be the right thing to design because, you know, just financially in store, the things that sold, that was like, that was a metric that made sense to me. But in reality, the outside world, I needed to be designing different, more like what I like. And sometimes I would get confused between online and in-store as far as, you know, what I should make. And I think at the end of the day, no matter what your art form is or what craft you do, I think it's important to stick to your roots and stick to what you know and do the things that you know. And I think that's really what makes the difference. I wish that I had more confidence as an artist, as a business owner, to just keep on the path of doing what I felt right in my heart. So as you can see, I don't have furniture in my store right now. I just have these chairs. And I don't really have a script or anything that I'm going off of. These are just thoughts in my head of kind of what I'm going through as I'm closing my store. You know, it's funny. I have a small store. It's probably, I should know the actual distance. Maybe it's like 25 feet length. And right outside my door are these chairs for this coffee shop. And I'll get occasional people walking by. And when my door is open, I could hear people outside. And you wouldn't believe how many times I hear people. And for a lack of better words, they're talking crap. They say, "What kind of store is that? Like, that store is never open. And like, who would even want that?" Or just like they'll say things like, "What an idiot," blah blah blah. If I had a store, it would be open all the time. And I would hear these things, and to tell you that it wouldn't get to me, I would be lying. Um, there were a lot of days I would hear the comments, and like it would hurt my feelings because a lot of these people just had no idea like what's going on in my life. Most of them don't know I have a son who's disabled, who's an adult. He's no longer in school, requires full-time care. They don't know what I'm doing in my spare time. They don't even know what I'm doing in general. A lot of people would see, like, why do I not have a lot of stuff in my store? Because in this type of store, the model's always been scarcity. It's been um, like a little higher priced items that only a select few people would know and understand. That's just kind of the way the streetwear market is, and that's the way it's always been. Like, I wasn't a store of trinkets and a bunch of knickknacks. It was never my intention. I'm an artist, I'm a designer, and these are my pieces of work. The same way when you go to a gallery, why do you only see 5 pictures on the wall? Why isn't all the artwork in a scrapbook? Because that's just not the way it's meant to be. So as people would walk by, I would just hear these comments, and you don't know how many times I felt like just fighting with them and telling them, hey, you have no idea. I got kids at home. I have a son who's disabled. A few years ago, I spent 10 months of my life at Children's Hospital. Like, so who are you to even say or judge? And I do the same thing. I walk by places, I judge. It's just human nature. It's upsetting. And, but I didn't want to constantly fight those battles. I've never been one that really wants to use my son as a marketing tool. He is there. Sometimes he shows up in my videos and whatnot, but I'm not using him as a prop. I'm not Russell, the special needs parent. Like, it's not my objective. I'm more to that. And in my time here, I wish people took the time to know. And it's funny, 90% of the people walk by and they're not curious enough. The other 10% would be like seeing my door open, come in and ask questions. And once they do, they have a conversation. And 90% of those people end up walking out with a shirt because they wanted a souvenir. And they were like, wow, this is really cool. You're a cool guy. And the thing was, most people just didn't take the chance. I'm not upset about it. I'm not hurt by it. But the reality of just having a store, a lot of people aren't going to take the time to walk in and figure out what you're about. They just would rather just come to their own conclusion what they think you're about. And that was a tough lesson to learn while here. When I think back to myself, would I ever do this again? Like, from what I know now, looking into the future, no. I would never try to operate a store again. I've learned through my time that I'm not a businessman in that sense. I just don't have the skills required to run a functional business as a business. I don't want to be a boss. I don't want to take people's money. I've just never been that type. And to run a business, you have to be that type. To run an online business, you don't. To be an online business, you make an amazing product, you stick it online, people order the product while you're sleeping. When you're having a physical store, people come inside, you talk to them, you hear their story, you feel bad that they're a single parent, you feel bad that they're gonna spend all their paycheck on your stuff, and you give them a discount. Like, it's tough because I don't want to take anyone's money. I'm just appreciative that they appreciate my art, and I don't necessarily want to trade their money for my art, but in order to survive, that's what you do. There's a lot to running a business just the politics, dealing with things that are business related. Not all people have those skills. I definitely don't. If I looked at myself and I asked, are you glad that you did this? Yes, 100%. I'm glad that I took the attempt to open my shop and to bet on myself. I feel like if you knew me 14 years ago and then you knew me 10 years ago when I opened the shop, you would be really impressed with how much I've grown as a person. You know, I think I've gained a lot of confidence. I think I'm still far behind when it comes to like people skills and communication. Obviously, you're listening to this video. I'm rather monotone and slow and whatever, but I think that my communication skills with people have gotten so much better. My actual belief in myself has gotten better, and I've met a plethora of amazing people within these walls. I'm looking back at my time, yes, I am extremely glad that I did it. I'm extremely glad that I tried. I think it was a great experience. If you were to ask me, do I think I failed? I don't. I don't think I failed. And I think that's the part that gets me the most. Majority of people, when they hear that I'm closing, they take it as a fail. I take it as it was an experience. I didn't get forced out to leave. I decided to leave. I've been wanting to leave, and I just didn't have the courage to finally like pull the lever and be done with it. And finally, this time around, I did. I don't consider it a failure. I think it was a part of my life that I completed, and it's just, I served my time here. I did what I had to do. I grew the amount that I can grow here. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop growing because I closed the door to my store. It means that for this particular section of my life, you know, this is the way the story went. And then on this day it ended. But there's still like more future left. This isn't the end of me. And I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I was at the end of the road. You know what I mean? That's sad. Look at my desk. What's your name?
My name's Zero. I'm from San Diego and I like Thai food.
You like walks on the beach?
Yeah, I love walks on the beach.
Nice. What is that? Samsung?
Yeah, it's a Samsung.
H264?
Yeah, something like that.
Like 1080p or 4K?
720. This is 720p.
720p? The Last Supper. Don Pedro in the house. How'd you get your name on your hat?
It's my hat. It has my name on
Does that look like a drone? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say hi.
Hi, friend.
I like that.
Okay.
Say bye to the store.
it. Buy store. So many more stores to come.
I just gotta take this stuff, some trash, and that's about it.